This is the Dreyer podcast, a podcast all about siblings and the people, places, and pop culture that raised us. And in today's episode, we're actually not talking about people, places, or pop culture. We're talking about the early days of the internet. ICQ, chat rooms, and then we'll take a weird trip down memory lane as we look at the first website that I ever built that is somehow still online, dedicated to my group of friends called the Young Guns. But before we get into that, Jacqueline and I will share a bunch of stories, and I'll also talk a little bit about an episode that I had on an airplane that scarred me psychologically for life. And of course, we'll wrap up this episode the same way we wrap up every episode on the Dreyer podcast with an unhinged text message from a family member. Let's dive into this.
Have you ever seen the movie Slumberland?
Is it with the guy who plays Aquaman?
Jason Momoa, yes.
Jason Momoa. That's how I refer, I don't know names of actors.
Extremely famous person.
We've learned this through this podcast. Who was the other one? You were like Timothy something. And I was like...
Chalamet? You don't know who Timothy Chalamet is?
Well, I know his name's Timothy now. I'm halfway there.
Timmy. Yeah, I sent them. They've never seen that. And I felt like that would be a good... That would. Sometimes with mom and dad, I'm like, what's going to keep their interest? They're like kids, right? I'm like, what's going to keep their interest? Like something, a lot of action.
Baby Shark.
A lot of
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark. I've been playing it all day for them. I said this into my phone to remind me to tell you about this. And then I sent you the screenshot of the reminder that I gave myself. And the best part is, I'll tell you, so took mom and dad are here visiting.
Hold on. Would it have been weird if you said the best part is, and then didn't tell me? The best part is, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you. Let me tell you what the best part is. No, we took, mom and dad got in on Friday night. Yesterday, Saturday, we took them up to Park City. We were going to stay a night in Park City and just do some shopping. Like Park City is really pretty this time of year. And we were staying at a resort up there. So we drove up there and we were going to like a big outdoor outlet mall, right? And we parked. Of course, as soon as we get there, dad's like, I have to go to the bathroom because he always has to go to the bathroom. So we went in.
I am now the same person. Like once I get into a place, once I'm getting ready to leave a place, I'm the exact same, 100%.
Immediately, he's like, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, well, we have to go to a few stores first because like the bathroom, it's, at outlet mall, it's like circular and there's bathrooms throughout. And so we go to two stores and dad is like, I need to go to the bathroom. So then Justin also takes Aaron to the bathroom because dad and Aaron, my 8-year-old, have the same bathroom habits.
They're synced up.
So we went into a store and we said, everybody who's going to the bathroom, we will be in the store next. So just when you're finished, come into the store. Addie and I are in the store. Everybody kind of starts showing up. No dad. And we're like, where's dad? So because I can't go in the men's room, obviously, we sent Justin to go see if dad was still in the bathroom. And he comes out to us and he's like, I don't think your dad's in there. And I'm like, well, where could he have gone? Like, you were in the bathroom with him. You left for 2 minutes and now he's just gone. I'm like, he's got to be in the bathroom. We send him in again. And I'm like, look at the shoes of the people. Go look in the shoes of the stalls and see if any of them are dad's. He comes out. He's like, they're like black shoes with white soles. And I'm like, no, that's not dad's shoes. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he wore dress shoes because before we left, he said, what shoes should I wear? And I said, whatever's comfortable. And he was like, my dress shoes are the most comfortable. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's wearing dress shoes. So I was like, can you go in one more time? And Justin's like, what do you want me to take pictures under the stall? Like, what am I supposed to do? I was like, there's 2 stalls in there. And I keep on going in and out and peeking at this guy's shoes. I'm like, one more time, go in. He comes out. He's like, I really don't think it's your dad. And then like 2 minutes later, the man that we were spying on came out and it was definitely not dad.
He's like, what's your problem?
We're so embarrassed because he's been in there just harassing this poor man who's just trying to go to the bathroom. And dad does not have a phone. Mom has her phone activated and dad has no phone. So now we're at this outlet mall. No one knows where dad is. And we've been standing by now. We've been standing outside the bathroom for 15 minutes.
No.
Kids are like, why? Like, cause I was worried, in Boy Scouts, they're like, if you get lost, what's the first thing you need to do? You stay where you are. And so I'm like, he needs to
run. Choose a direction and run.
I think you lay down and pretend like you're dead, or that might be bears. But I'm like, we can't leave because what if he comes back to the bathroom? We have no way of finding him. This outlet mall is huge too, like massive. And I'm like, I guess we just start like going and looking in stores. So I tell mom to stay at the bathroom because I'm like, in case he comes back, you stay here. Mom has a phone. And I'm like, we are just going to start like going into each store and like poking our head in and playing this game called Would Dad Go in This Store? So every store we go by is like, is this a store that Dad would go into? And they're like, and like looking for Dad's white hair. We probably went to 8 stores looking in. And finally, we just see Dad wandering down the sidewalk. And he had gone like all the way past, like, I mean, this outlet mall is massive. And it's kind of like in a figure 8. And he had gone into like the second part of the 8, the top part of the 8. And I was like, what are you doing out here?
Was he holding an ice cream cone? I imagine he was just walking, just holding an ice cream cone, completely oblivious that he's caused this chaos.
He did look so unbothered when we were all so flustered. He was so unbothered and I was like, where were you? And he's like, I didn't know where you guys went. I'm like, there was a clear meeting point, Dad. Like, what is, so then I had to be like, Mom has her phone on. Like, you need to go find Mom. She's back at the bathroom and then come meet us at this other place. And like, as he's walking,
you then released him back into the wild?
Into the wild. I was like, you can do this, right? We had to have eyes on him the whole time. We're all just like watching him walk down the sidewalk. And like, as he's walking away, I grab my phone and I'm like, hey Siri, remind me to tell Ryan about when we lost Dad at the outlet mall and Justin had to keep checking under the stalls for his shoes. And then I screenshot and sent it to you.
which defeated the whole purpose of this story that you just told me. Because I got it from the screenshot.
I had some context that I needed to pepper in.
But I did tell Seiko right after, who found it hilarious, because there's some my favorite bathroom story from Dad. Weird way to start a story.
Which we've got a lot to choose from.
I don't think I've ever told this story on the pod before, but there used to be a time where I'd travel a lot for work, and quite often I'd fly out of Buffalo, which just kind of like saves a little bit of headache.
Yeah.
It's especially for some of the smaller airports. Like if I was flying into like, I don't know, Mansfield, Ohio, right?
Okay.
Fly out of Buffalo. It's just way easier than flying from Toronto. Usually I would eliminate one flight. Anyways. So often if I was flying out of Buffalo, Mom or Dad would come down and pick me up. So save me the rental car or some type of bus or public transport, like whatever. So they'd come down sometimes. And I remember this one time I'm flying in, and as soon as I land, I message because Dad is picking me up. So I'm like, hey, I just landed. And he's like, all right, I'll wait by the baggage claim or whatever. And so I go to the baggage claim. I'm not claiming any bags, but that's kind of where you come out. And the way that Buffalo was set up at the time, I don't know if it still is, but like if you're looking at the baggage claim, the men's washroom is all the way on the left and the women's washroom is all the way on the left. Sorry, men's on the right, women's on the left, completely separate. So like literally like all the way far right side wall, men's bathroom, all the way far side left wall, women's bathroom. I'm guessing you can imagine where this is going. I'm sitting like, where the heck is Dad? Like just looking left and right, trying to figure it out. Similar to Justin, I go into the men's bathroom because I know Dad
checking some shoes.
It's where he's going to be. So I go in, I'm like walking around in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, he's clearly not in here. I don't think anyone's in the men's bathroom. I'm like, there's no one in here. This is so weird. Like, is Dad outside? So like, I'm trying to see if like I can look outside somehow and see, but if he's parking, like I'm not going to be able to see his car. This is all just, and now same thing. Like, do I start roaming around the very small Buffalo airport trying to find him? And just then I see Dad obliviously walking out of the women's washroom. And I'm like, what? He like comes over and I'm like, Dad, were you just in the washroom? He's like, yeah. I'm like, the women's washroom? He goes, oh, that's why there are no stalls and I could hear so many women's voices. This is a women's washroom. I'm like, you didn't? He's like, I just had to go so bad. Found a washroom. I went in. I'm like, all right.
And I was so unbothered about it. You know, we used to fly into Buffalo a lot because for a long time when I lived down here, I was still Canadian technically, but my children were American. And flying as a Canadian with American children threw up so many red flags when we would fly into Toronto and try to go through customs. Like we were detained all the time. So I started flying into Buffalo because driving across the border was a lot easier. They didn't ask so many questions. And so again, Dad would come pick me up. And I remember we were heading home. So we'd been visiting Toronto. We were going to the Buffalo airport to fly home. And I was reminding Dad as we got closer to the border, just remember you have like I was like 2 Canadians, because we're both Canadian, 2 Americans. That's what you need to declare as our citizenship, because I had my kids with me.
Like
And
they're
like,
what, cases of tobacco? Do you have anything to declare?
Yes.
2 children from America.
2 children. 2 American children. No, so I'm like, Dad, just remember, you have 2 Canadians, 2 Americans. He's like, okay, 2 Americans, 2 Canadians. We get up there and he's trying so hard to do it right that he made himself look so guilty by being like, 4 Americans, no, 1 Canadian, 3 Americans. I was like, Dad, no.
Their father knows they're here. Their father knows they are here. It's his wife. Husband, her husband.
1 Russian spy. I'm like, Dad, why did you bring that in? Like, he just gets so stressed out in those situations.
3 war criminals.
I can see him going to the women's washroom because he's just so flustered. He's like, well, I guess this is fine. Like, I need to get this done. We were just playing after dinner. I was like, it'd be fun to play some games with our elderly parents who don't understand game mechanics at all. And so one of the games we were playing, it's called Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Okay. And it's a simple game. You just put down the card. Each card has the picture of one of those things on it, but you keep on saying it in that order: Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, as people put down cards. And if the card matches what you say, you slap in. That's it. Easy game. Dad almost had a heart attack playing it. He was like, I got this is so, and there's special cards too. Sometimes there's like one that's like a narwhal, and before you slap in, you have to make a narwhal sign by putting a point on your head and slapping in. And there was a gorilla too that you pound your chest and slap in. Dad kept on doing noises. It is not a noise game. You're not actually supposed to make sounds. But every time he'd be like, ooh, and then slap, or like it would be narwhal, and he would still say ooh, like a gorilla. And like my kids were like, what are you doing? And then at the end of the game, we were just laughing because it was just, they were struggling so hard with this. And I was like putting away the cards, and Mom was like, can you imagine, I'm going to make up a name here because they said I'd real name. They're like, can you imagine Bob playing this game? He would have a heart attack. And my oldest was like, oh, why? He was like, oh, because he has heart problems. It wasn't like because he... It wasn't like because he really likes card games or is super competitive. It was because Bob legitimately has heart problems.
He has heart disease. He is dying of heart disease currently.
It was a wild ride. I mean, they've only been here for 2 days. We're just at the beginning of this trip, and it is rich text for me, is what I would say.
Well, we haven't got content. We haven't. Yeah, just write it all down in your journals that we know that you keep. Write them everything down, because this is great content for the podcast.
We talked about we're going to Disneyland in a couple of weeks, right after Mom and Dad leave, and for a minute we were like, should we?
I love this. That's the reward for the children for enduring.
You're like, you can be nice to Gigi and Bobby. We briefly considered, like, should we take them with us? But I am extremely rigid with the way that I approach Disneyland, and it's tactical for me. It's like I am planning a military coup every time we go to Disneyland. And the way I was like, I can't, that introduces a variable that I'm like, I can't do that with Mom and Dad. Sorry. The moment they said they didn't want to do something, or that they were tired or had to go to the bathroom, and it was outside like our previously scheduled bathroom breaks, I would have I would have, like Bob with his heart problem, I would have a heart attack.
And it would be as soon as you get into a line and you're like, it's psychological. The bathroom is psychological. It's like, wait, am I not going to be able to go after a certain amount of time? Because now it's in my brain, I should go right now. Right now that I actually can't go, I should probably go.
For me, it's anytime I get on a plane, and it's the period between when I get to my seat and we get to a cruising altitude, that I'm like, I am going to explode if I don't pee right now.
I should have been wearing a diaper.
I've gone pee like 6 times waiting before we boarded. And then as soon as we hit altitude, I'm fine. Right. It's the fact that I can't, it's because because they're like, you cannot get up. And I'm like, oh no.
So you've just tuned in to the
to bathroom talk
with Ryan and Jacqueline. But here's what kicked off my psychological issue with all of this. So another travel story. I was flying from Columbus, Ohio. I don't know why Ohio has been mentioned now twice. 2 smaller towns.
Shout out to all our Ohio listeners.
Yeah. None of you. There's literally no. I know all of the listeners. That's the thing. I can count them on one hand. I know them, all of their names. They message me afterwards. But so I'm flying home from Columbus, but I was at this speaking engagement where I was like doing a keynote speech. And after it's done, I needed to go to the washroom, but I was like, look, I can get to the airport. I can make this flight and then I can just go, like I can do it. It's 20 minutes away or whatever. So like I rip to the highway, I rip to the airport, go through security, and I'm like, okay, I've got like 5 minutes to make this flight. I can do it, and then I'll just go to the washroom on the flight. It's no problem. Like I'm not at critical moment here, but a few minutes I will be. Get through security, get onto the flight, and like run and sit down on the seat knowing that like it's Columbus. It's a very short flight. We're going to be in the air very, very quickly and I can use the washroom. And like, as we're taxiing, they're like, and just one thing to mention, the washroom is out of service for this very short flight to the Toronto airport. And I'm like, excuse me? Like I just postponed all of this knowing that once we get to altitude, I can go to the washroom. And then I start like calculating the amount of water I've drank since the last time I went to the washroom. I'm like, I did a keynote speech. I drank 2 bottles of water. I drank half a bottle of water over to the car. Oh yeah. And before I threw that bottle out in the rental car, I also drank that other half a liter of water. I'm like, I'm full. I'm full of water. I need to pee. I need to pee right now. And like, to the point where like we get to cruising altitude, the flight attendant, she comes down. I'm like, how out of service is the washroom? She's like, I can't even open the door. I'm like, can I open the door? She's like, no, you cannot. I'm like, I really have to go to the washroom. She's like, there's nothing I can do for you. You've just got to hold it to Toronto. And so now, yes, I have to go to the washroom. We've established that. Now I'm also having the wildest panic attack thinking about being at the time, 30-something-year-old man who's going to pee his pants on this flight from Columbus, Ohio to Toronto. And I'm like, it's going to happen. Like I fully accepted it. I'm like, I'm just going to pee. That's what I'm going to do. But then I can't pee because I'm now like,
in my pants.
Yeah, I'm just going to pee in my pants in the seat and I'm just going to have to do it. So anyways, I managed by the grace of God to not wet myself in this flight from Columbus, Ohio to Toronto. But when you're flying from a very small airport or to a very small airport from the Toronto airport, they put you way out in this other like side of the terminal. That's like, it was just an afterthought. They're like, we'll just put this out here because surely no one will ever need to emergency pee.
You can walk to the terminal from here.
It's so long. It's like estimated time, like 13 minutes from there, walking to like the actual terminal. And when you're landing from the United States, you cannot like cross over the glass. Like there's like a glass partition because you have to clear customs and immigration before entering Canada. And like I land, we get into the terminal and I know that there's glass dividers all the way down until the main terminal. But I also know that on the Canadian side, on the other side of this glass partition, there's a washroom. And I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to zip through when they're boarding another flight. I'm going to zip through to the Canadian side and go to the washroom. So I get off. I see they're boarding another flight. I go running and they're like, sir, you can't go through there. Sir, you cannot go through there. And I run in. I go into the bathroom. Security runs after me. And they're like, sir, you cannot. I am already peeing. I made it. I'm not saying I made it about it started. I did the procedure. I went through the steps to not pee my pants. And so the security runs in, they're like, sir, you cannot. I'm like, you can handcuff. I am peeing right now. If you want to handcuff me, you can go for it. I was like, the washroom was, I'm talking while I'm peeing. I'm like, I'm sorry. You can handcuff me if you want to. I need to finish this. The bathroom was broken on the airplane. You can go and confirm with them. And he's like, sir, you cannot be. I'm like, look, I got to do this. I will go back over. You know, it's me. You saw me. And so finished up, washed my hands. And I'm like, they're like, just get on the other side, man. And I'm like, thank you.
Yep.
Real recognized real. I fist bumped him with my still dripping hand.
Wet hands. I was like, what a Canadian exchange where you're like, I am sorry I broke a rule. Please handcuff me after I'm done peeing. And afterwards they're like, it's okay. Please just follow the rules next time. And you're like, okay, I will.
I shall. I told him he could handcuff me while I'm peeing. I was like, you can handcuff me while I'm peeing, but I got to finish this, bro. And that's what
Okay.
started the psychological issue with me. Like, I'm like,
Panic
wait,
attacks having to do with
am I going to get locked in here and not be able to use the washroom? And this is why you listen to the podcast. This is why you, right now, listening, you're like, I wonder what they got for me this week. I hope Ryan tells a story.
at the gym on a treadmill listening to you talk about how you almost beat your pants on an airplane.
It was a feat of human endurance and perseverance. Let's chalk it up to that. So next time you're giving a keynote speech, anyone listening, I want you to reference this to cite the human spirit and how humans can persevere through anything.
Resilience, and also if you're giving a keynote speech, monitor your water intake, okay?
That's
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. That's the real takeaway.
Here's my springboard.
Speaking of water intake.
Speaking of water intake. Speaking of keynote speeches, I did send you a screenshot because the other day I was cleaning out the cupboard that I keep old recipes in. And I'm like, why do I even have paper recipes? I don't cook. So it's crazy that I have recipes. But like, just like little old family recipes, like Annie Gale's cherry cheesecake tarts, which are like my favorite thing of all time. She typed up a lot of her recipes and sent them to me so I would have them. But so I'm going through them, like, and I found in the bottom of my recipe drawer, don't know why it was in there, my valedictorian speech from 1998.
It is a recipe for human success.
And I would like to read you something that I feel like makes sense for the pod. Parents, family members, friends, fellow graduates, and staff of Southwood Park Public School. Each of us here is writing our own stories, the stories of our lives. One songwriter put it this way: I'm the one who writes my own story. I decide the person I'll be. What goes in the plot and what does not is pretty much all up to me. That is from a religious cassette tape that we had as children called My Turn on Earth.
Hence the very loose sourcing of that quote. A person once said, definitely wasn't a cassette tape that mom made us listen to that was religious. It was me 3 hours ago. I said it while I was crafting this speech.
They may have different plots, climaxes. I would never use that word today. Climaxes and endings, but they all have the same beginnings. Our stories all start with our birth. I really was going back for this one. Our stories all start with our birth, our beginning to life. Just as a novel starts off with an introduction and preface, our personal bestseller begins as we introduce ourselves to the world. As infants and toddlers, we start to grow and become the main character. I gave a speech about how I was the main character as a valedictorian.
How you became the main character. Everyone else is just, did you thank them as the supporting cast at some point in that speech?
Right?
No.
The second page of my speech is characters are important to any story. We already have the main character. That's us. Let's look at the secondary characters. And then I went through all of the 8th grade teachers and explained how they were secondary characters to us.
And let's go through the extras.
The extras.
Our parents
are just here for this. Oh my gosh. It's genuinely upsetting. And know that it says slow down all over it because Dad would write slow down in all of my speeches because I talk fast.
Yeah, we if you go all the way back, it must have been in like one of our first 2 or 3 episodes where we talked about how Dad would write that in the margins of all of our keynote presentations,
which we gave a lot.
Many. And the best part is yours is written by you, which means that you were like, Dad, I've got this. You were trained by the time you're in 8th grade, you were trained.
Yeah. I wrote my own speech. This is going to tie into it.
Did you write it yourself?
Yeah. Obviously, I wrote an entire speech about how I'm the main character of Southwood Park Public School. No, who else is going to write that? And then I wrote it in Word, obviously, printed it out at home, read it repeatedly in front of Dad because I wanted to practice. And then when I went to go give it, the sound system at the high school, we would do this graduation at high school. The sound system wasn't working, and they let me know ahead of time, you're just going to have to project. Luckily, I have a very loud voice, and I projected this entire speech about me.
Did you
I was like, no problem.
Dynamite fist pump at that point? You're like, yes.
I was like, this is perfect. I'd love to speak loudly about myself. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, you just haven't stopped.
No. My husband's like, please stop speaking loudly about yourself.
It's
Take a
so,
break.
the valedictorian speech is so like, it's so heavy. Like it's not like just intense.
Yeah. And we talked about how we both have animal analogies in it. And so I finished with a butterfly analogy about how it's really scary for caterpillars to move on to the next step of ninth grade high school. And that we would all blossom into beautiful butterflies as we entered the barbed wire of Exeter High School.
The barred windows and barbed wire. Yeah, the barbed wire. The only thing that you have in common with a caterpillar and butterfly is in the very hungry caterpillar, there is a series of pages where it eats all of just the ugliest, most horrendous foods and then gets a stomach ache. That's the only part that you have in common. When I see like anytime that you're on vacation and I'm looking at your Instagram and it's just 96 stories of you eating like chocolate dipped, twice fried funnel cake. Wrapped in spam.
We were on a road trip last weekend and we stopped at a gas station, and I'm picking up my treats at the gas station, obviously. That's why I'm there. And I picked up a
not to get gas, not to get fuel,
gas,
just
what?
To test the outer limits of your
what
stomach.
Snacks. I'm just interested to see what snacks they have. Is there a hot dog on a roller? I might buy it. But I picked up this candy called Squashies, and it was random. These Squashies, I posted them on Instagram.
Saw them,
and they're one of the most incredible candies I've ever had. And now my entire personality has been the procurement of more Squashies. The problem is they only sell them at this one gas station, and the last 4 times I've gone to 4 gas stations looking for them, and they've been sold out because I feel like I'm kind of an influencer and I sell Squashies and now everybody's buying Squashies. So I had to order them online to be delivered to my house. I ordered 5 bags of Squashies. I have 1 bag left. It's been a week. I have 1 bag of Squashies left, and they're like a gummy marshmallow hybrid. So they're very satisfying to eat. They're so good, Ryan. You don't even know. Squashies are pinnacle of snack.
The one thing I'd love to point out about all of this, and I know I poke fun because I edit the podcast and I see how often I do this, but I can't help myself. It's the older brother in me that you went out of your way to mention that you ordered these online to wait to be delivered to your house. Where else would you get them delivered?
Special delivery to my house. I'm kind of a celebrity.
Where else would they get delivered? I ordered them online to be delivered to the gas station. I would get that combination. Like I hooked them up because they ran out. Did Mike?
Direct to me, the consumer, my Squashies. And I will say, Dad ate almost an entire bag on the way to Park City, and I was furious.
He would. The amount of times that we would get in the family vehicle, Seiko always would be like, why is there like 3 Snickers wrappers like tucked under that yogurt container?
Or
like,
I've been
Dad trying to hide the fact that he's been eating Halloween candy for the last 6 months.
He's been riding up front with Justin, and
in the big boy seat.
In the big boy seat, because the front 2 seats in my car have massagers in it, and so he wants a massage every time, and so he wants to sit in the front. So whatever, fine. So I've been sitting, but anytime he hears the crinkle of a wrapper being open, I see his little claw hand reach back behind his head because he wants me to hand him in his hand a Squashy or whatever I'm eating.
Whatever it is.
He doesn't care. He just wants it in his hand.
And that's
that's how things are going here.
Yeah. It sounds like it's fun. It sounds like it's fun. Lots of snacks, a couple road trips, a lost father.
I expect to lose him several more times before this trip's over.
Just make sure to write it down and or take screenshots, dictate it to Siri, and make sure that we capture this for the next episode.
So my kids call our parents Gigi and Poppy, which means your kids also have to call them. Yeah, yes. Because I have the oldest grandchild, and she's the one who, we kind of just let her pick. We had no say in it. She just started calling. Poppy is kind of a family name. We had a Poppy growing up. Yeah. Gigi was just what Addie started calling Mom. And my kids were asking my husband and I, like, what are you guys going to be? And my Justin's like, Grandpa, like he's the most straight-laced person you've ever met in life. He's like, I own. And Justin said, I don't want a crazy name. And he said like Pee-Pee and Goggy. He got it mixed up, like how you talk and how you get your things mixed up, Pee-Pee and Goggy. And so I was like, great. Now we're going to have to be Pee-Pee and Goggy because this is part of our family lore. And
like Poggy and Pee-Pee. What?
So we've been fighting for the past like 3 weeks over which one of us has to be Pee-Pee and which one's going to be Goggy. And I'm like, I feel like I'm a Goggy and you're a Pee-Pee.
So Seiko's mom, our kids Noah calls Seiko's mom Pee-Pee.
That's what we heard. And then I was like, okay, so Pee-Pee is fair enough. Pee-Pee is a legitimate grandparent name.
It's legitimate. It's an option. It's on the menu. The best part about like these names that we call each other, I don't know if that's the way you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that people call people names. Well, in Japan,
it happens.
People call people's names. Speaking of calling out the obvious things,
I've got a spicy hot take for you guys. Names are
people call people names. People call people by their names. This is the obviously obvious podcast. But in Japan, most kids call their parents either like the Japanese names of like otosan for dad and okasan for mom, or mama and papa, maybe, right? Like that's probably as wild as it gets out here. Noah calls me daddy, right? Like that's just the way that it works. She calls me daddy, but other kids around, they think that that's my name. Like it's not clocked in that daddy is like papa, because there's no daddy in the vocabulary in Japanese. And so it's amazing going to pick up Noah from school or like playing with her and some of her friends at a park. Just all of these kids yelling, daddy, look, but it's not my children. And the parents realize that like daddy is
like, what do you know?
Dad, right? You're like, how many kids does this guy have? And like my neighbors will come out and be like, daddy, what are you doing? And I'm like, all right, we'll just roll with this. I'm not going to correct this.
It's your nickname now. Everybody in Okinawa can call you daddy.
I'm just the daddy of the streets.
When I was in Africa and I went with this group of teenagers, I went as the trip mom. That was my official title, like trip mom. And they all called me mom or Mama J. And yeah, I felt like as soon as they started calling me that, in their heads, it clicked on that I was their mom. And so any problem they had, they were like, mom, so I haven't gone to the bathroom in 4 days. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, I'm actually not your mom and I don't want to know any of this. Like, talk to your real mom about it.
Yeah, can you talk to your actual Mama J about that?
Just kidding. I'd be like, here's a fiber brownie. Take one, call me in the morning.
All right. Well,
now that we've talked about so much PP,
we've covered all the
bathroom.
topics. We talked about bathrooms. We talked about losing dad. We talked about people calling people by their names. Really compelling. Yep. Really compelling stuff.
Okay,
there's nothing but lowlights. This is nothing but lowlights on this episode.
This is the low light podcast.
we were searching for a few. Sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we we get in the zone, we hit the vein, and we lock in on a really great theme. We have not got that so far, so we need to pick it up.
We're going to, and I'm going to start it. So the other day, this is going to lead into our topic for the week. The other day I sent you a Reddit thread that I had stumbled upon, and it was a question. And so let's ask the question that they asked, and then we'll talk about how this led into the topic. The question was, people over 35, what's something you genuinely miss that younger generations will probably never experience? And I wanted to ask you that question.
I don't know if it happens in other places. So there's two things that I'm thinking of, and they're somewhat related. I don't know if this is happening in like small town USA or small town Canada anymore. From talking with my friends who have kids, it doesn't sound like it happens anymore. But the congregating of all of the neighborhood kids in one place naturally, meaning that like it's a summer night and Mitchell just got back from a trip to Florida, and you know what that means. Firecrackers firecrackers, right? And it's like everybody knows to just go to Kinsman Park, to just go to the soccer fields at Kinsman Park, because that's where we're all going to meet and light firecrackers. And it's just something you didn't have to like send a text, you didn't have to message, you didn't have to call. Everybody just knew to go there. And like the familiarity of like walking outside on a warm summer night and you see like other people from that same group that are just heading in the same direction, and you just join and you link up and you all end up in the same place doing the same thing. So that's definitely something that like I don't think Noah is going to get. Like we get it when we're driving to school. She'll see kids from her school and be like, oh, there's so and so, or there's this other kid that I know. But it's not like this, like just like mutually understood meeting point and just everyone going there and then getting into all of the trouble that would happen by being there and being bored.
Yeah. Do you remember when, I don't know if they still do it, Ajax would do home week, and home week was kind of just like a celebration of Ajax, and it would end with fireworks over the lake, and we would walk down to the lake. It was probably a 15-minute walk right from our house. And as we walked, we would try to kind of just like snowball kids and families from the neighborhood. So we'd start from our house and then we'd pick up Granny Cooksy's family, and they would snowball with us. And as we walked, people would just kind of snowball, and you'd end up walking down to the lake with this, a group of like literally 75 people all together. And that was always my favorite thing to do in Ajax.
Yeah. Just knowing it was just agreed upon. Like everyone knew it was happening. Everyone would be there and everyone would go and do the same thing with their families. And like you said, it would be this group of 75 people, or maybe you get to the actual, like the park or the waterfront, and the groups separate. They go to their you go find the kids your age or whatever, and you go sit on a blanket with, whoever you came with. But it was always so fun. Yeah. So that's part of it. Like that's the one that jumps out right away. And then somewhat related, the like going to a friend's house and knocking on the door to see if they're home, not knowing if they're actually.
We would say calling on.
Yeah. Can I go call on Robbie? And it's like, you would go there. You wouldn't even know if they were home. Right. And you would go there and it's like, you knock on the door and they may or may not be on the other side of that door, and you just don't know. And that's something that like my children will never experience.
One of the most tedious parts of being a parent is setting up play dates. I truly loathe the back and forth that happens before my child can go play at someone's house for 2 hours. And it's just so, scheduled. We've discussed it 7 times before it actually happens. Yeah. I miss the days when you could imagine being a parent and just being like, okay, bye. Like, go call on your friends. I don't care what happens. And and if you stay there, don't call me. Like, I'll just assume that you're there.
Yeah. Come home before it gets dark. Right. Like there's no way. I have air tags on everything that Noah owns.
Just track my kids.
I'm not kidding. And it sounds like actually you should get one for Dad.
I honestly, Ryan, I showed him how to use Find My today because they had no idea. They had no idea that their
Jerry. No, it's not that Find My Father. It's a different.
So I set up both of their phones with Find My on it because I need to be able to track them.
Actually, can I revise my answer now that I said Jerry Springer? My children will never know Jerry Springer.
That's true. But, and how's that? Or yeah.
But that's really, so those are the things that jumped out right away. It's just like the community of kids and just being like tapped into it, and how I wouldn't even allow that. Like I wouldn't even allow it.
It's not on the table. I was thinking about sometimes we would have sleepovers in the backyard, and we had a treehouse in the backyard that had cots in it. And I would invite my friends over. It is a jail cell. There was this wooden treehouse, and we would have sleepovers in the backyard. But that also meant like after Mom and Dad went to bed, we were free to roam the neighborhood till 4 a.m. because they thought we were in the backyard. And obviously, my kids will never experience something like this. But those were like my favorite nights of all time, just wandering around Ajax, pitch black, dark, in pajamas because it was extremely safe. And then going back into the treehouse before Mom and Dad woke up so that we could be there.
We did the exact same thing.
Best.
Sleep on the cots, wait till Mom and Dad go to sleep. And then you go, our limit would be the catwalks. So there's like the series of catwalks that went from like Deacon Lane. And then there was like another one that went down to like Strathy. And then you would walk down, I think, Burles, was it?
Mm-hmm. Baker? One of the two.
I'm going the other way to school, to Southwood.
Okay.
So anyways.
This is very niche.
Yeah, very, very niche. Very, very niche stuff. But there was a series of catwalks in Ajax that you could go and connect from street to street, walking to.
And it's different than, like, I guess now today they would call it like, oh, it's like free range parenting. But it wasn't free range parenting. It was just like, I don't think it was any type of parenting whatsoever.
Out of sight, out of mind.
That's what I mean. I'm like, I don't think it was like I think free range parenting means the parent is like, I'm making an effort and this is like a conscious choice. My intention is to, like, I don't think there was any intention involved whatsoever.
It was actually zero effort parenting. It was
like, please go. Please go. Don't be in this house anymore. You're so loud. You're so loud and you won't stop talking about yourself.
I am the main character and I would like to introduce the rest of my cast.
Here are my supporting characters, my 4 brothers, who are also human beings. So what led into this is I read that thread, and like three posts down, there was an enormous thread about the internet in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I was like, we have to talk about what it was like experiencing the internet. We are millennials. We experienced the internet like fresh. I was in, I believe, grade 8, grade 9 when we got our first internet connected computer. Before that, we did have a computer, but it was not connected to the internet. We had Carmen Sandiego, the game on it. And as aforementioned in a previous podcast, I could print out giant banners with the whole papers on the side and take up 17 pages.
The first one was like No Doubt? Yeah.
It just said No Doubt is the best band. It wasn't even like a clever banner. I was just stating
no
something
political
that I
statement.
No,
protesting.
So when we did
signs.
when we did get our first, actually, I was telling Mom and Dad about this, and Dad told me that the first computer that we had that was internet connected, they paid $3,200 for it. And I was like,
gosh.
What? Well, first of all, where did we even get that kind of money? $3,200. But we had an office down in the basement, and having the computer down there was huge. And I asked Dad, like, why even get it for $3,200? Why would, we're not a computer family. We were not like a tech savvy family. And he was like, well, the teachers, every time we'd go in for parent teacher conferences, they would ask, do you have a computer at home that the kids can use? And they were always like, no, they can play.
They have an aunt. They have an aunt. And they can go to her.
An aunt who has a computer, which is what we did for a long time, is we had an aunt that had a computer. And then they finally went ahead and bought this computer. And I was thinking about the first things we did when we got that computer, and you were the person really leading the charge into Make Porter's Tech again. And you, like that, you were like, we're going to do this. And so you were downloading things like a crazy person. Like, that's the first thing you did was like, let's download everything we can on the computer. Let's get Diablo. Let's take up all the memory downloading Winamp. Let's make sure there's a theme all the time, whether it's Simpsons or Braveheart. And so many viruses that I'm sure you were downloading at the same time.
Non-stop viruses.
What was your first what was your first memory of having a computer that was connected to the internet? Like, what is your first internet memory?
I've got a lot of internet memories, which is a really nerdy thing to say. I got a lot of internet memories.
Oh, I got some internet memories.
No, I mean, like, early internet was like the wild, wild west. Like, it was like,
truly,
parents had no idea how to use it for the most part. Our parents didn't know, like ICQ was a thing, or chat rooms, like, had no idea what was happening on chat rooms. But a few things jumped to mind about like early internet at the Porter's house. One, of course, ICQ, which was that first like chat.
I still remember my ICQ number because I used to give it out to people instead of my phone numbers, 230-90796.
I had multiples. I had multiple ICQ accounts, so can't remember. Which is weird. I think one of my I was talking about this with a woman that I work with too, and like I'm pretty sure she remembered her ICQ number, which was really interesting. But so ICQ, that messaging platform that we would use to message to, it was like the first Skype, I guess. Like, it would be that first iMessage or Facebook Messenger or whatever. It's just I don't even remember, like, were there directories of people? Like, how did you even, because I remember having a bunch of people that I didn't know in real life on ICQ.
Strangers.
and I don't know if that was from chat rooms or like I don't necessarily know how that like came to be, but so ICQ is one of the very like early internet memories. Of course, you talked about like having like downloading themes, Winamp with all of the different skins, Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, all of like the peer-to-peer networks for downloading music, lots of viruses. And then there's like a couple of other things that jump to mind. So one, and I don't know if anybody knew that I was doing this, but not that shady.
Statute of limitations. Okay.
No, it's not shady.
Allegedly.
I joined an online rap battle league where you would type out your battle raps to other battle rappers, and there would be weekly tournaments of these battle rappers.
No.
There was this one time where I was part of this weekly rap battle, and I was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty good. I was ranking every week. And we're talking like, this is prime, like WWF, WCW time periods. Like everybody, it was just this. And so I joined this rap battle league where you would type your battle raps and then people would vote and like judge who's the better written battle rapper, which is, I feel like is an art form that really needs voice behind it.
So you joined a poetry club.
I joined slam poetry. We were slamming poetry every week. But I remember one time, and this is why I stopped, I was up against this guy who I had found out was pretty ill. And I used
like, wait, was he ill, like sick or ill, like life ill?
He was dying. Okay. He was dying. And I battle rapped him. I battled him.
I can't be here anymore. I can't be here anymore.
And I guess I crossed the line because his sister contacted me.
How did she contact you?
On the battle rap forum.
I hate you.
I am crying, and the amount of sweat that's coming out of my body right now.
You're so red.
His sister contacted me to tell me that I'd crossed the line. He ended up surviving, which is
my God.
Both the battle rap and the disease.
Stop. I can't believe I'm laughing at this.
No, he survived. I swear to you, he survived. But I guess I crossed the line. And his sister got in touch. And that was the last time I was a part of that rap league. And I announced my retirement on the forum. And I remember like weeks later getting people being like, yo, why don't you jump back in the game? And I'm like, it's not for me. It's not for me. I want to spread positivity.
What did you say in that ill man? Marshall Mathers.
Imagine it comes all the way around, and that, yeah. But so that's an early memory, and I'll leave with this final memory because this was like a wild moment in the Porter household when we moved the computer, the internet computer, from the downstairs office to the upstairs office. Mm-hmm. And there was one time where I believe you were on the computer, and it was, again, early days. So like internet security protocols hadn't really been nailed down to the point where like printers were just like open. And yeah, just open. Anyone could print anything on anyone's computer. And obviously you had to know the whatever, like the commands in the command line to then like look for an IP address to then like flip their screen upside down. Remember you could flip someone's screen upside down remotely? And I think you were on the computer and our computer got hijacked.
I was home alone. I was home alone at the time.
Yeah. The screen was getting like flipped upside down or whatever. And then people started printing stuff on our computer.
Printing things that said, I'm watching you over and over again.
Yeah. And Dan's reaction to this was like, I don't even know how to explain the like vigilante The vigilante, we know I mispronounce words all the time on this podcast. The vigilante mode that it switched him into, where he's like, no, we have to figure out who this someone is remotely controlling this computer. They're watching us right now. Turn off all the lights, turn off all the screens, unplug everything. And he just went into this mode of just like, yeah, like we got to figure out who this person is. We are now the main characters of a horror movie, and we're
being targeted.
Yeah, we're being targeted. We must act accordingly. And it was just panic and mayhem for, I don't know, several weeks at the Porter household until that security hole got patched and we realized it was just
Dad defragmented it. So
Dad defragged it.
We were good. No, I remember that because I remember crying because I thought like I was
watching me.
I had watched Scream one time and I was like, this is how I go. This is it for me.
Who are you? Who are you?
And it was like, obviously the computer was moved upstairs so that Mom and Dad, I feel like they got kind of caught wind that we were just wild
battle rapping,
whatever we wanted. Battle rapping, obviously. They were like, Ryan cannot be doing this. We have battle rapping with a sick child. And we need to move it upstairs. I mean, the thing is, the reason our computer probably got hacked is because I was on chat rooms all day long giving out every piece of information about myself that's, I think about all the strangers out there that have information about me because I gave it out so freely on ychat.com. And I had like, can you remember what one of your emails was when at that time? Please tell me.
First of all, I still own one. Okay.
No.
So
definitely was it Hotmail.
Somebody had don't go speedo. And then I had, so I was like, oh, I can do that too. And I went wrong to go thong at Hotmail.
No. At hotmail.com.
At hotmail.com. And I still have rhyme on time at hotmail.com.
I forgot about rhyme on time. I feel like that was the one you used on most chat stuff.
Yeah, it's also probably what I was using on that battle forum.
Not a rap battle.
I need to legitimize this. I need to make this legit. What can I? Rhyme on time.
Rhyme on time. And they're like, that kid is going to make a sick kid cry.
He's an ill lyricist. But not that ill. Not that kind of ill. That's another guy. He survived. He survived.
As far as you know, you don't know where they are today.
He survived to take his, to avenge that lost battle rap by hijacking our computer and printing, "I'm watching you."
We had very strict rules around computer usage at first.
Loose.
At first, when Mom and Dad were awake, again, Mom and Dad did go to bed and we were hooligans every night getting on the computer.
We've established that.
Roaming the streets, handing out our personal information online. And so at first we had a very strict 30-minute time that we were allowed, and we had to sign up for it. Like Mom had a sign-up sheet. Do you remember this? It's beside the computer. And because we were constantly fighting, and we had one computer and we were constantly fighting over A, who got to be on the computer, and B, if someone had to use the phone during that time slot, you had to get off the computer. So we had to know who was going to be. So you had to sign up for your 30-minute block and then get on and do everything that you needed to do. So if you had 30 minutes to do whatever you needed to do, what were you doing? Aside from rap battles.
I was on chat rooms nonstop. Yeah. Just trying to talk to girls, definitely. And then I would say probably a couple of years, if we go past like 96, 97, maybe 98 is when I would have started to like use internet for learning and like trying to like build websites, because I thought like maybe I would be like a web designer or something. And so like I'd say probably 97, 98 is when I would have started like messing around with like creating websites.
Okay, and like what kind of websites were you creating? Just curious.
Is this where you wanted this to go? So
this is 1000% where I wanted this to go. I have been herding you like a cat into this corner where you have no escape. I didn't know the slam poetry was going to be coming out. That was a bonus. but this is where I've been trying to get you to go.
So one of our loyal listeners actually commented on our podcast, I think like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Is that website still up?" And it sure is. And so like I was making websites. So First of all, this friend in particular, I remember he made a Babe of the Day website, I believe, or like
Early
Babe
Facebook.
of the Week. Yeah, like
Should've
Babe,
kept it.
like Babe of the Week, perhaps. And it was just like Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Love Hewitt, or like Buffy the Vampire
That's so
Slayer.
I know. That's so 1999, actually. Like, perfect call out. It would have been Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, and then it was just like an archive of like the weekly or daily, I can't remember. And then like it was this time of the internet, like where like you could first start embedding like media players. You could have like music auto playing when you arrived.
So as soon as you visited a website, it would just be blasting music at you.
Cursor trails. So like when you move the cursor on a website, there'd be like confetti or like a kite string or like, and it's just all of the things that you could do, you were doing it. And splash pages were really big. So before you entered a website, there would be a meaningless page that had the name of the website and just an enter button to then go on to the site that you've already indicated you wanted to. Like, worst UX you could imagine. It's like, I'd like to go here, and you're like, stop. Would you like to go there? Yes.
Hope you like listening to real loud music.
So I created one of my longest lasting websites, which is still online, which I've now just entered into my URL bar of Chrome.
Please, I'm going to do it too. Let's look at it together. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oops.
So another thing to point out.
My God.
Another thing to point out about websites in the early days of the internet, guest books were really big.
I miss guest books.
So there were these plugins that you could install onto your website. That was a guest book hosted by another service where you could click on it and you could leave like the date that you were there and your name and a message. And also website tickers were really big. It would count the amount of people that would visit your website. So those were two really like big plugins. And so if you look at this website on the first page .html, there's a guest book link which just fires up like a link, not like an Indeed ad or like some type of ad service now. And then below that, I believe it's ultimatecounter.com, and that's where it would have actually been counting a number of visitors to this website. This website, the last time, look at this. So I'll go through the first page. First of all, I designed this in something called Jask Paint Shop Pro, and I designed everything. The menu on the left side, we'll keep the link. We'll send the link out on the Substack. So you'll definitely want to head to DreyerDrive.com for this one.
Please, like this one, you have to get eyeballs on this.
Me and my friends called ourselves the Young Guns. And we had gang signs. We would wear security t-shirts around town.
I forgot about the security t-shirts.
It was like loosely based. We was loosely like a breakdancing crew, but not all of us were real breakdancers. And so we just called ourselves the Young Guns. And so you load up the site, and at the top, a banner, which is really big in the early internet days, having banners. It says the Young Guns in some like random Asian looking font. And there's a crosshairs. And then there's the three of the Young Guns doing like breakdance freezes in the red crosshairs of the banner, under which there is the menu. The menu was all hand designed in Jask Paint Shop Pro to look like bullets on a bullet.
That's what they are.
I don't know what that's called, but actual bullets.
Like
and they're
a bandolier.
A bandolier. Let's go with that. There are 5 menu items: main, pics, about, join, and email, which I'm guessing we're about to see. Go ahead.
Before you go on, I went into pics. Can I read you the title of the pics that are on there?
Do I need to go change my shirt?
Please just let me read these out loud. So these are all links. So if you want to see the pictures, you have to click the links, but they are live hyperlinks. The first one is, here's a pic of me, brackets solo. Next one is the Young Guns in action. The next one is me and my cute puppy, boxer Rottweiler cross, also in brackets. Next one, these guys are huge, 3 exclamation points. Next, I love this suit. Next, who are these pimps? Next, Jeff, in brackets, the man who let us use his digital camera. We definitely did not have one, and camera is spelled wrong.
It was borrowed. Is it really? Oh, it is camera. It was it was borrowed from the Ajax High School AV Club, and it was a digital camera that you actually loaded floppy disks into, and it only held 14 pictures. Anyways, continue.
So this was a labor of love. Next, Arif, the flying squirrel. Next, Rob, the dead squirrel. Next, how did Matt do this? Next, again spelled wrong, camera trick starring Rob. Next, why do I hang around these guys? Next, here is me busting a baby flare. Next, check out Dis Freeze! 3 exclamation points. Next, my favorite move! Only 2 exclamation points. Next, me, brackets Ryan, and Rob drew chest hair on to make us look like men. Brackets, I don't think it worked. Next, here's Jeff the man. Next, how did Matt do this? 4 question marks. Next, Rob is learning. And finally, me and Arif showing some nice freezes.
I don't have a lot to say.
Can I just ask you to explain yourself quickly? Like, first of all, how dare you?
So one, I use brackets a lot with names because I thought girls were going to this site. I thought like we used to give this site out.
That's why.
We printed business cards for the Young Guns with this. We used to go to like dances and we would hand the business cards out with this website on it. And so like I wanted girls to go to this and like know that I'm Ryan, that's Matt, that's Rob. Like go to this website, check us out. Don't mix us up. That's why we use names a lot, which is like against the street code. But hey, for some girls, we're willing to do that. But all of these picture links, with the exception of one, I believe, still work, which is extremely embarrassing.
Oh my gosh, Ryan.
Which one?
I clicked on the one with you and your cute puppy because I wanted to see Taylor, our dog. You are so skinny.
And I thought I was so jacked. Just if you go to these guys are huge. Where's the one that says these guys are huge? We're flexing.
Yeah.
So I think like just I thought I was. And I can't read blue on black text now, by the way. So I'm like, which one?
You can't even read my own website anymore. Oh my gosh. Oh, here, these guys are huge. I think I remember what the picture is actually.
And it's me and my childhood best friend flexing our muscles so hard. And I thought I was jacked.
These are wild. Please, if you're listening to this, go to this website, sign the guest book.
So it gets wilder because there is one item on the menu that I believe we need to talk about. And that is the one listed join. We had a portion of this website dedicated to other people applying to be a member of the Young Guns. And I just want to read to you. It's only 3-4 sentences. And I must point out that I used multiple colored fonts, different actual fonts. Some stuff is center aligned, some stuff is left aligned, caps peppered in there. So yeah, so let me start with this. In the center of the page, there is yellow bold text centered that says, how to become a member of the Young Guns. And then there is baby blue text underneath that says, time, and I quote, time and time again, I've been approached with this question. Switches to red text. Ryan, you and the rest of the Young Guns are just so cool. And I was kind of wondering, could you make me a member? End quote, and end the red text. Back to baby blue.
I would like to point out the main character syndrome of you being the main character of the Young Guns.
Ryan, you and the rest of them.
Ryan. Well, I don't know who the other guys are, but Ryan, you
and these other jokers.
How can I do this?
Now, this question puts me in an awkward situation because you and I both know that there are, all caps, only 3 original members and limited space for honorary members.
Limited space.
But if you think that you can handle the never-ending everyday pressures of the Young Gun lifestyle, then email me or Rob or Matt and let us know who you are and why you think you deserve to be at the center of all of this action. Peace.
Peace.
So that, just so you know, that's still active. We're still accepting applications for anybody who's thinking about throwing their hat in the ring. But then if you really want to know about the Young Guns, there's a section on the menu that is about us, about the Young Guns. I don't want to go through all of this because there's a lot. Yeah, it's...
You were 17 when this was happening. Oh my gosh, you were 140 pounds.
I was 140 pounds. We saw that already.
You
I was 17.
your weight.
So this would have been 1999.
Well, it does say on the landing page that it was redesigned in January of 2000. So this is the new one.
Yeah. So there we go. But just a few things like the question. So the Young Guns, who are they? The question is, who aren't they? The Young Guns are all born and raised in Canada, aka the Great White North. There are not many people able to uphold the responsibility of a young gun, but these young men have proven worthy. And then it goes off to list four members, original members, and we also have 6 honorary members of the Young
Which are grown men adults. You have 4 children and 2 grown men.
Oh, and I know one of them is listening. One is Doug, the senior citizen of the Young Guns.
The senior citizen. Sorry, Doug. I apologize. I can't believe this has been on the website this long. It's been out there. Also, I don't know why Rob's bio has just a picture of a sausage in it.
Because he had a breakdancing move. He had a breakdancing move that he called the silver sausage. And he would just lay down on the ground, I believe. He had the dead squirrel and the silver sausage.
I do love that your, again, main character behavior, your bio is about you and the ladies, also a back injury. And Rob's is that he needs his colon cleanse because maybe then his breath won't sting. Just kidding, Rob. Take it easy. What?
I was really early on the internet bullying. Really early on the internet bullying.
Your best friend catching strays.
He also works at Arby's Roast Town. Speaking of Roast Town, I'm out here roasting these guys.
This is so rude. Everybody else's is nice. I don't know why he went so hard.
I don't know. Matt loves his faves are complaining, sleeping, being lazy.
You know, works at Loblaws, ladies. I know that because Matt was my coworker at Loblaws.
Ladies, he loves to cyber, so keep the emails going his way. He on the internet. I think he is such a late 90s, early 2000 call out. I don't think anybody says he anymore, but you definitely would when you're chatting with people. Absolutely. We have email addresses here. I'll finish this off here. You asked about early email addresses, and very on brand for me. We talked about a couple of mine already. My original one, I didn't know this, was in fact insanemembrane@home.com.
Wow, I'm impressed that you got that one.
Look at Angel Fire still just serving up ads.
I know. I'm
so
like, do you get
years,
money for
decades,
this? Like, I feel like
decades later,
monetizing this.
Is there a creators program? Is this just like a content creators program that I've been opted into for the last 26 years that I just didn't know about?
That's the thing. This website is 26 years old.
Well, older because the original design would have come out in 98, I believe. And I just kept updating for a couple of years and then decided websites weren't my thing for another couple of decades when I decided they were my thing again.
You're like, this is my whole personality.
I'm back in.
What I would like to know the other emails.
The other emails, Wiesendorf@home.com. And here it is right here. Don't go Speedo @hotmail.com. And the other one looks like it could still be in use, so I'm not going to say it out loud.
It's just a name.
It is. It's like name at provider.
We obviously will put this in the show notes. I think this is like a piece of internet history that needs to be experienced for sure. I'm sad that I did not have my own personal website at this time.
I am going to go into like Cursor or Lovable or ChatGPT or Claude or one of the AI tools that I use on a day-to-day basis to like actually work on stuff like this. I'm going to have it recreate it.
Okay. And we can read it next week. Next 2 weeks.
I'm going to say like update it, but like in today's lingo, like today's slang, and just see what it comes back with. But like, this was it. Like, this was the internet in the mid to late 90s. I've encapsulated it. It's still alive and somewhat well, if you're okay with
if you want to experience what the internet was like then, I think this website is probably the easiest and best way to experience that firsthand.
Yeah, the only kind of disappointing point is that the guest book doesn't work and that we can't see how many visitors have actually visited the site.
That is a bummer, because I'm sure it's in the
tens of millions. Tens of millions.
Oh,
tens of millions.
Okay, got it.
This website was exponentially more wildly popular than this podcast. And that is saying very little. So I'm still at it.
I think we need to add a little more breakdancing to what we're doing here. I'm learning some things that we could be adding. I could be roasting you for your breath a little bit more. Really seem to like that. Some cool pics, some flexing pics. We could add those.
Cool pics.
Early internet was a beautiful, beautiful place. It's nothing like the internet of today, which is a hellscape.
And I'm still here. I'm still here on the internet, day to day, internet. Doing my thing.
Chronically, both of us are chronically online. Let's quickly do our unhinged text of the week. So as aforementioned, we actually recorded our podcast that is no longer with us because we both, contrary to what you said last week in the intro, you forgot to hit record. And then when I went to export mine as an MP3, my computer decided that was the ideal time to update and I lost everything. So goodbye. I guess we'll revisit that once. And we had been texting quite a bit about it because obviously we were trying to figure out what can we do? Is it like somewhere in my computer, like go through every file that you've ever, just to see if we could find it. It is not there. And afterwards, I just started listening to the podcast you pushed out that week because obviously we had to take one from the archives
from the vault.
From the vault because we didn't have one to release. And I said, us starting this podcast talking about how technology never fails us is actually so perfect. And you said I laughed so hard when I started the edit. And I said, I'm actually crying laughing. This episode is great. Raw dogging a dog. I was in such a bad mood in such a bad mood over the last episode, and now I'm good. And you said, I've listened to the edit at least 3 times. The raw dogging a dog line kills me every time. And you said, also, I love that it's all it takes to put you in a good mood is listening to yourself talk.
I was in a bad mood until I heard my own voice.
And then I was like, you know what? We're going to be all right.
All right. Well, I got a jet. Thank you for this little walk down memory lane. We will post this in the show notes and we'll run it back in 2 weeks.